That's the anti-checker.
We will return to your scheduled programming shortly, or we are currently experiencing technical difficulty.
Hey, guys.
What is going on, everybody? Michael J. Crawford, the anti-trekker here, along with Auntie, who is on the screen behind me, although it was funny, she was all up and around 2 minutes ago, and then as soon as the credits rolled, she got in bed and started going to sleep. So she is being as mellow as always. Let me get right into what's going on here. So Thomas is first, saying hi to everyone. Life with Matthew, a very close second, says good morning. Black Adam is third, saying second. Captain Cat is fourth, saying first. Mystique LeBeau doesn't try to engage in the silly competition for first and just says hello. JRPG fan 20,000 says good morning. I gotta say, JRPG fan, never been able to get into JRPGs, but good for you. I don't know why, they just never appealed to me. BIRDOPREY says, sounds like a dog collar. Well, actually, you can't really see because my head's in the way. Well, you can kind of see as Auntie is snoozing. Let me see if I move the camera a little bit. Wow, she just doesn't see. There she is. Not wearing the leash right now, just has her basic collar on. She's kind of learned the boundaries around here, and that's what I was talking about the other day. So no, I'm not abusing little Auntie. Rock Solid says, not Durst. Okay. Captain Spire is in the house, says, did they make you take down the Pseudo Jaws theme? No, I just change up the music every now and then. And so that song that was playing today is a classic that we used to use all the time. It is called Acoustic Snowflake. BIRDOPREY says, no music. Yeah, that was my fault. I forgot to set the Acoustic Snowflake song to repeat if it gets to the end, and it got to the end. What is this? Anything important? No, nothing important. All right. And sorry, and by the way, just so you guys know, I am still waiting for the supervisor from Sedgwick Insurance to call me back. They promised they would call within 24 hours. That promise was made Monday morning. It is now Wednesday, and of course, nothing. I'm really beginning to get pissed off at these people. However, not much I can do except hopefully wait, and hopefully they get it straightened up so I can get paid. All right, so let's see, and then thank you for going live and saving me from watching Lore Stream Archive. Well, Rock Solid, what you can do if you really want to avoid the horror of watching old Lore Reloaded. Why is this thing constantly saying new notification? I read it. If you want to save yourself from the pain of watching Lore's live streams, just watch mine. They're way better than Minecraft live stream any day of the week. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I like Minecraft. I suck at it, but I like it. Thomas puts $1.99, says, Kuroga is evil, number 11. Now, number 11 is what I played right when the live stream started. But for those of you that have come in since then, why not? I'll play it again.
Hey, guys.
That is a classic. Speaking of Lore Reloaded, that was indeed Lore's voice of the little animation of Lore. So, Let's see. Captain Cat is lulling at Rock Solid and Bradley about their comments. Thomas Potts is laughing because he's actually playing Minecraft right now. Good for you, Thomas. Fun game. Although you should be playing Space Engineers on our Space Engineers server. We need to get that server with some constant action going on so that we know that it's worth paying for. And by the way, I may be thinking about, I don't want to because I don't like, Cinnabon has put so much work into what he's been doing on our server. I don't want to reset the server because of the shenanigans that went on with Wesley. But if things get out of hand, we might. Anyway, where was I? Sorry, got lost in the comments there. Peter Quinn is in the house, says good evening. Black Adam says, Antricker, Irish government is getting citizens to sort out the gender pay gap today. Sucks. My country is a joke. Well, not as much of a joke as this one, so yeah. I was watching Fit, but this is better. I don't know Fit specifically. I hope the chat with the insurance people went okay. Well, no. Unfortunately, I yelled at them for a while this morning, yelled at them a bit yesterday. They keep promising that a supervisor is going to resolve this, and they keep putting me off. And so once again, I am waiting to hear from a supervisor at Sedgwick Insurance so that we can get this situation resolved. The thing that pisses me off about it, to be honest, is that I have done absolutely everything that they have asked me to do, and even done more than what they have asked me to do. And they just constantly, they just drive me nuts. So, sorry, didn't mean to go on a tirade there. Is in the house, says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Anti-Trekker. Good morning, Auntie the dog. Good morning, Jason the shark. Good morning, Herman Schmeckelbeck. You're not supposed to say good morning to Herman Schmeckelbeck. Rock Solid says, the technical difficulty audio always reminds me when Disney rides go down. Yeah! Actually, yes. Never thought of that, but yes. And so Peter says the DLL problem is sorted out. That's a good thing. Nice to see that someone's making some progress. Good morning, coffee. I actually just finished my coffee. See, still got my cup right here. There's green on the logo. But yes. I need to get an all-green coffee cup so it just looks like I'm drinking an invisible cup. Rock Solid says, agree, not an RPG or JRPG fan. I do like some RPGs. Like, I like Diablo 3. I used to play Baldur's Gate. I'm actually looking forward to the new Baldur's Gate. But I've never been able to get into JRPG. Turn-based RPGs, it's just kind of weird. And let's see, I'm just saying hi. Hope you are well, man. I'm extremely bad mood. Catch with you later. All right, Black Adam, take care of yourself, man, and I hope things get better. Commander Shran's in the house, says hello. Tiki of Doom says, I'm an acoustic snowflake. Scary. I'm doing BIRDOPREY levels of falling behind. I got to speed up here. Continuum Trek says, hi, Anti-Trekker, how you doing? Thomas says, Anti-Trekker, I got one of those Ancestry DNA tests. Funny, it was on sale for Father's Day. I don't know how long it will take to fill it with spit. Well, that's interesting. And John says, goatee is growing into a beard. Yeah, it's getting a little shaggy. I might have to trim it back. Every now and then, I cut it down to where it's like about there. But I don't know. I was thinking it's like it'd be fun to grow to epic status for my Klingon persona. Kapla, everyone. Speaking of Klingons, hey, Tiki. Peter says, insurance companies love taking money but hate giving it back. That is absolutely right. Lulu Maha says, I love your crap. Well, thanks and welcome. Remember, we will, and all of a sudden, we will call you back means I hope this guy doesn't call us back. You are 100% correct. And as soon as this live stream is over, Auntie is actually getting her first dog obedience class today. And so after that, I'm going to call them again and say, where is my callback? Now, if by some miracle they actually call during this live stream, I will have to cut off the live stream because that is more important as much as I love you guys. So what is the dream? Just everything, Brian. The fact that everything is that could go wrong has been going wrong for me lately, and it's just driving me crazy. Got the insurance people that won't pay for my time off of work because of their own mistake. Then we have the test results from my last battery of tests showing that I may have a much larger issue to deal with than just a bad back and bad knee. And if that's the case, I'm not looking forward to that. But that also means that come I think the 24th of this month, I get to go in for a colonoscopy. Yes, and most of you are probably too young to have experienced the joy that is a colonoscopy. I've had 3 of them already, and the main reason is because I actually had colon cancer about 7 years ago, and so that's something that I just have to constantly get checked up. And based on the test results, it may be back. And so, if so, that could be a really, really ugly situation. Kama says I need to get paid first. Okay. Roxall says Minecraft is terrible. Breath of the Wild is much like Minecraft to me. One of the major reasons I dislike it. Well, Space Engineers to me is the way Minecraft should be. If you haven't played it, Roxall, you should check out Space Engineers. As long as BIRDOPREY keeps attacking, it should get busy. Is Wesley still invincible? I don't know. I haven't talked to Wesley in the last 24 hours. Been trying to deal with the insurance. Are you some kind of robot? I wish I was. Brain, what is Brain? Well, Tiki, it's me. Andre is here from Bosnia. Good to see you, my friend. As always, John says, are you trying to give us seizures with that screensaver? Well, no, it just makes me think of Doctor Who. That's why I put it on. I try to do something sci-fi themed, and this screensaver makes me think of Doctor Who. Yosef puts €2 into the chat. Thank you, Yosef. I do appreciate it. Says, I'm playing Excel, the Minecraft for grown-ups. At number 23, everyone's favorite super chat for all time. Yes, the day Discovery died. That is a work of art. All right, so let's see. I'm going to... the Bird of Prey throws $2 in. Must have accidentally hit that button. So thank you, Bird. Says, R.I.P. Lee Iacocca. I didn't know he passed away. Former CEO of Chrysler Jeep. If he recently... Yeah, that's too bad. Lee Iacocca... really, it's too bad that he did an incredible job in his day, and unfortunately, American automotive companies are just pretty much lazy. Ford is the only one that turned down the government bailout, of course, but let us move on. Roxall says, hit that like button, people. Don't be a red shirt, disposable. Let the YouTube algorithm be damned and show YouTube you support anti-trekker and what this channel does, or be deported to Karoga. Thank you so much, my friend. I truly do appreciate that. Because yes, without your support and you guys spreading the word on how much you appreciate what's done on this channel, I could not be here. And of course, Mrs. Anti-Trekker wants you to hit that like button as well. Because,
Hit that like button.
So thank you, Mrs. Anti-Trekker, and don't forget to hit the like button. One of the dumbest things about the YouTube live stream system is that when I'm in my live stream control panel that YouTube provides, you can't see the like-dislike ratio. You have to load it up as if you were watching it. It's just kind of weird. So let's see. Broadcast the call. No, Bird, I'm not going to do that because, I obviously might have to give some personal information that I might not want to share on the internet. So like my street address, where my house is, or my social security number. So yeah. Darth Kilhoun says, ha! Anti-Trekker, okay. Greetings, says Schromer, and Anti-Trekker and fellow nerds. Just got the notification. Are you still monetized? Has that gone wrong? I honestly haven't checked today. I'm just like so freaking frustrated with everything. And by the way, on top of all this crap, so the medication the doctor has me taking, the main side effect, I can't remember the name of the medication. Sorry, I don't have the bottle with me, but it's something that's primarily prescribed for people with seizures. But it helps in reducing nerve pain, particularly from the spinal column. So it actually helps. But the primary side effect of that medication is lack of focus and concentration. And man, do I feel that in spades. I sit there like editing a video, and I've been trying to edit the same segment of video for 2 solid days. It's just, I mean, part of me just wants to stop taking the medication so I can get the videos done. That's why nothing's come out this week. And I'm really sorry, guys. I'm so close to having this video done, and it's very difficult for me to focus on anything for more than a few seconds. Continuum says, Anti-Trucker, grow the beard. Beards are sexy and every woman knows it, lol. Well, Mrs. Anti-Trucker likes the goat. She does not like if there's a mustache, so that will never happen. And so, Luke is in the house, says, Bonjour, Monsieur Crawford. Hey, Monsieur Fauvac. How you doing? Just make sure the doctor warms his hands before the colonoscopy and buys dinner and brings you flowers. Oh, man. Well, it's not because the colonoscopy, first of all, the doctor doing the manual examination, yeah, that I had the other day. That's why I'm going in for the colonoscopy, because when they go in there and get a little tissue sample from inside you, and then they run the test and they say, you need to get a colonoscopy. When they do the colonoscopy, they take something that looks a lot like the neuralizer from Men in Black, connected to a long pipe, and yeah, you don't want to know. DJ says, don't cut the stream. We want to see the veins in your temple go all busting. We missed Star Trek Discovery reviews. Oh, and I had a colonoscopy. It's nothing. Well, I've had colonoscopies in the past, DJ, and as long as they give you a proper sedative, it's all right. It's just that it's not pleasant. Luke says, hey, Trigger, would you like some croissants with your cafe? Yeah, I like croissants. So you're going to send them to me? Because I don't know if you can get them from France to here and still be fresh. Peter says, Andrew, I hope you share my dream of being given a giant robot body. I would be down with that. If Star Trek Discovery uses number 23's opening credits, I would watch. That would be freaking awesome. So when will we come up with the next Trek, that new show franchise thing that would get us out of the loop we're in? Sick and tired of being in the progressive purgatory. I know what you mean, Luke. Of course, we got The Expanse coming out soon for season 4, and of course, season 3 of the Orville. Don't know, it won't be until fall, but that we do have stuff to look forward to. Please check Discord, Kuroga Embassy. You guys in Discord, I know you do it now just to piss me off, but that's all right. Oh yeah, that's the that's the Kuroga Embassy. All right, let me bring that up for you. So you can see right here it says Kuroga Embassy, and right up here, right above the flaming doorway to hell, it says refugees, quote unquote, welcome. So yes, that is an incredibly accurate depiction of the Kuroga Embassy. In fact, I think that might be an actual picture of the actual Kuroga Embassy. IC3566. Wow, is that Elsie or Icy? That name just rolls off the tongue. Says, had a colonoscopy in 2017. Feel your pain. It's not pleasant. Hope yours goes okay. Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, the unpleasantness of the colonoscopy itself, well, I'll deal with it. What has me nervous is the results of, once they do the test. I mean, like I said, I've fought cancer once before. If I have to fight it again, I will. I just don't want to. I'd hit that like button like a tree in Endor, says the Scout Trooper. Very good, Luke. And says, Mystique says, sounds like Gabapthian. Oh, the drug. No, you see, I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the name of it, but it's downstairs. If it was for Mrs. Antitrek, I wouldn't even remember to take it because I'm so out of it. Says Anti-Tracker's social security number is 123456789. His phone number is 8675309. Ask for Jenny. Yes, all true. Bradley gets up to pee, takes 3 steps. What was I doing again? Yes, exactly. Yes, that is not far off. It really just, this medication makes you, it's funny because I feel like I'm functional, but then I just suddenly lose track of what I'm doing, or like I'm sitting there typing something and then it's like, oh, let me look at this for a couple of minutes. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be oh, look at that. Wait, I'm supposed to, and yeah, ugh. Harold UK Gaming says, who picked up The Expanse? Amazon did. So you'll be able to see it on Amazon Prime. Season 4 is in production right now. And so let's see here. So it says, Captain Cat Continuum Trek says, I heard BIRDOPREY's name dropped around, so I thought I'd check out his channel. Well, I hope you enjoy it, because BIRDOPREY, as much, he is an evil bastard. Let's be real. He is absolutely an evil bastard, but he's fun to watch, and so yes, that's the bottom line. But no, Bird is actually a very good friend. If you ever go to Amazon, if you do go to Amazon, click on the link in the description of this or any other of my recent videos to go to Amazon, because when you do, if you use that specific link, then BIRDOPREY gets a little kickback, because he is an Amazon, whatever they call it, partner or whatever. So if you click on that link, like for example, earlier today, I had to buy some new headphones for video editing and help me keep focused on my video editing. And so I ordered them through Amazon. Wasn't a big purchase. It was like, they're only like $30 headphones, nothing super expensive. But I click on that link to go there. So the BIRDOPREY, a $30 purchase, he might get a dime. I don't know, but hey, it's something to him. And so help a nerd out by using that link, please. Because we all spend a lot of money on Amazon. But what I was going to say is, if you go to antitrekker.com, which, by the way, it's a great website. There's some good forums, good information. You can get early access to some of my videos and stuff like that there. You can also support the channel by being a subscriber. That's how you get early access to the videos, and which helps continue the channel. And so so if you go to antitrekker.com, BIRDOPREY is the person who completely administers the website. He is awesome and does that for me. So thank you, Bird. And by the way, if you do subscribe at antitrekker.com, BIRDOPREY might get a little bit of that money too. So if you want to support both me and BIRDOPREY, you can do that by subscribing at antitrekker.com. If you love BIRDOPREY but you hate me, then you go to BIRDOPREY.com and support him there, or on his subscribe star, and I won't get any of that. So, there's that. But if you love us both, you want to go to antitrekker.com. See what I say? Yeah. Thomas says, I need the DMCA Mrs. Antitrekker. She just released one of my videos. Oh, horrible! Except that she's doing that for me. But thank you, Thomas, for the news flash. Luke says, Antitrekker government, so you want low taxes or great health care. Average lefty, yes. Yeah. Because the lefty says, oh, but, just make the rich pay their fair share, because that will somehow make the difference. Rocksalt says, Amazon affiliate. Thank you. I couldn't remember. BIRDOPREY says, Enter Mom O'Prey takes offense to you at calling me a bastard. Well, Mom O'Prey, if you're watching, when I call your son an evil bastard, of course, I don't mean that in the literal sense of him being the child of unwed parents. That is not at all what I mean. What I mean is that he is evil. So just to make sure that we're on the same page. So I apologize if you thought that I was suggesting in any way that you had him out of wedlock, because I know Mom O'Prey is an honorable woman, which is unfortunate since she had a son who was a Klingon with no honor. And Captain Cat says, yes, technically he isn't a bastard. He's an evil dictator of Kuroga, right? Yes, that is correct. So, Continuum says, sounds like great fun, Captain Cat. I will Defro, I assume that's definitely be checking out BIRDOPREY's channel while working on the Borg versus Dominion video I got when I get home. And I'll tell you, continue. Yeah, Bird does live streams pretty much every day, and he kind of alternates between what he calls bed life, which is pretty much just like this live stream, where he's just talking to whoever's there about whatever the topic of the day is. And he alternates that with gameplay videos. Mostly he plays City Skylines. He's very good at it, although he cheats massively. And when I say that, I mean that he has a bazillion mods installed into the game. He plays it with unlimited currency and that kind of thing, so you can't lose. But it's still fun to watch, and it's fun to watch his psychotic side pop out every now and then when he likes to watch people suffer and die in his game. If BIRDOPREY were a god, he would definitely fit the description of an evil one. So, yes. Had to address both sides for fairness. True, yes. What the worst part of colonoscopy is the prep. Go lightly, my ass. Yeah, I know. Like I said, Darren, this will be my 4th colonoscopy, and it's the prep the day before is a nightmare, because what you do, for those of you that don't know, is you take first of all, you have to go on a fast for the day before, so you can't eat anything. You can only have clear liquid. So it's basically a water fast for the day before, which that's not the worst thing in the world. In fact, it's good for you to do that every now and then. But while you're on the fast, you also take these medications and stuff that are basically hyperactive laxatives. And so that everything in your intestinal tract is not in your intestinal tract by the next morning. And so, yeah, that is painful. Oh, I see, Luke, I see what you said, Luke. I missed the other comment. Government, so you want free market or a level playing field for all companies? Average righty says yes. That is also true. Well, that's the problem. And I don't know how it is in France, Luke, but here in the United States, that's a big problem, is that both sides want something that is impossible. And yeah, but neither one is willing to talk to the other about making something that actually works. Dr. Alex is in the house, says, hey, Anti-Checker, can only pop in for a few minutes. Are you okay? I'm okay at the moment, but I'm still fighting the insurance company over getting my paycheck. So hopefully, you know, I can pay the bills when they come up later this month. I'm very nervous about that. I am also, unfortunately, having to go in for a colonoscopy because some of the lab work that they did on me shows that I may have a return of the evil cancer. So depending on what goes on there, that could be really, really unfortunate. And then of course, I'm still dealing with my back and the knee procedures that are coming up. So yeah, just not fun. And of course, there's still the YouTube algorithm crap that I'm not even talking about. But yeah. So it's like when some people say crap and they're referring to stuff. Yes, that's exactly right. When I was calling him a bastard, yes. BIRDOPREY equals Kling Orc confirmed. Well, yeah, we knew that. A Klingon with no honor. I have to get my gun. I have no choice. Where's that son of a bitch? Bird. Yes, that is an actual quote from him. Well, we never hear anything about the German dictator's parents. That's true. Bird, would you be interested in appearing on a live stream of mine via video or just audio? I think you would do it. You can cheat if you can't cheat if it's one player sandbox game. Yes, no. Most people can't. You can. Do we have a topic of the day? If so, what is the topic of the day? Actually, no, on this channel, we don't really have a topic of the day except for when there's something very specific I want to talk about. Like yesterday, talked about Spider-Man Far From Home. However, for most of the time, no, it's whatever you guys want to talk about. And then Luke correcting me, I missed the comment, which I went back and read. Yeah, Darren, yep, my ass is the most important. Yeah, don't even, yeah. Orville Nation says, good luck. Thank you, Orville. I do appreciate it and love your username. Cannot wait for season 3. Alex Brooks says, hello. Good to see you. Andrew says, indeed, it is my world. Unfortunately, I have to share it with the rest of you. Well, I'm sorry about that. Nathan Norman says, what's going on? But I think you might have heard it just since then when I was explaining it to Dr. Alex just now. So let me know if you didn't catch that. DJ says, I drank lots of coffee before mine. The part I didn't like was waking up after the colonoscopy with a tic-tac toe on my butt. Bird emailed me. Oh, it's about that. Hyperactive laxatives, not to be confused with the intergalactic laxatives of which Donovan say. Yes. Trek Continuum says, will do. Not sure about what. Oh, man, hyperactive laxatives. Well, that would be interesting time on the porcelain bus. Oh, man, I will tell you, Peter, it is no joke. The day before colonoscopy, you have to, if you share a house with anybody, assuming you don't live alone, then people have to know assuming you have more than one bathroom, that bathroom is reserved all day, because you will at least 20 or 30 times suddenly have to go. And yeah, I'm sorry to hear this. You need to look after yourself. Thank you, Core. Doing what I can. Marlena says, hi, Ed Tricker in chat. Hey, Marlena, good to see you. And Dr. Alex is going to Paris, probably on an assignment from BIRDOPREY. So Luke, be very, very careful. Dr. Alex might be trying to lure you out. Do not meet up with Dr. Alex. I don't want to lose you. And Checker, the invite goes to you as well. Would love to have you on. Absolutely rock solid. We can make something work out here. Don't know what you want to talk about, but I would be more than game to have a conversation. In fact, we should arrange to have me and Bird on at the same time. That could be fun. But yeah, talk to Bird, see what works for you guys. My schedule is relatively open right now because I'm not working because of all the stuff I'm dealing with. The day before the colonoscopy is horrific. Very true, Schromer. Very true. Dr. Alex says, Checker, my thoughts are with you. Thank you, Doctor. I do truly appreciate it. Don't spoil the end game. All right. I won't spoil it. Be well, Anti-Trekker. Thank you. Uncle Ramus, good to see you. And Captain Spire throws $5 into the chat. Thank you so much. Says, good morning, sir. Thank you for being here. We'll lift you and your family up in prayer that you seek his patience and strength going forward. Thank you very much, Captain Spire. I truly do appreciate that more than I can say, because I don't want to get demonetized. Thomas says, Voyager got home. Well, now you spoiled the end game. Nathan says, I didn't catch that. Okay. Colonoscopy Endgame coming to theaters this July. Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that I will be drugged beyond the capability for rational thought, I was thinking about actually live streaming during the colonoscopy, but no. Luke says, in France, form a protectionist capitalism. A form of protectionist capitalism applies. Regulated level playing field plus state financial support of huge companies. Definitely similarities with the American way. Yeah, and I don't like that. I'm sorry. A regulated level playing field basically just means the government gets to pick who succeeds and who fails. And I'm sorry, the state should not be giving any kind of support to any private corporation unless that private corporation is either providing a service to the federal government or is providing a service for the federal government. Darth Maul says, Anchor, at least what's going on with you isn't as bad as Star Trek Discovery. That's far more bad for everyone's health. You're in my prayers and your family too. Thank you, Darth Maul. I appreciate it. Can we spoil Spider-Man? Far from great now. No, Uncle Remus. I told you that after this weekend, we'll talk spoilers. But not until then. I want to give everybody a chance to see it before I start talking about some of the details of the movie. The difference is that regulations are in place to protect the employee, but it comes at the expense of small companies who understandably struggle. That's the thing. Yeah, if you require too much of companies, then only very wealthy companies can survive. A lot of Karogaphobes in the chat. Sheesh. Well, that's because Karoga is just evil. DJ, let's see. Or do like me, just take the laptop into the bathroom and sit there all day, and then Dr. Alex says gives a whole new meaning to the live stream. No, I will not be I hopefully, by the time I stream on that day, the day before the colonoscopy, I'm hoping that I'll have most of it out of my system before the live stream. Or maybe I'll do an early live stream before I have to start dealing with that. Is anyone else bothered by the fact that Dr. McCoy rarely ever wore rubber gloves? No, he also very rarely wore surgical masks, but that's partially, I think, because, like, for example, they talk about the sterile field that is over, like when he's performing surgery, you see that, like a blue glow, and they mention the sterile field, which means that anything that goes in there is sterilized as it goes in. So he doesn't really need rubber gloves. And in fact, a surgeon would be able to do his work better without them. Luke says, Antchecker, Dr. Alex, name the place for a duel and we shall meet at last. I'll find out which is stronger, baguette or umbrella. Sorry, Luke. Umbrella's going to win that. Sorry. Colonoscopy. It's a whole new ball game. I also have a booth cam at the end of the month. I feel your pain, brother. I'm sorry, man. Aberjam. That yeah, booty cam. Yeah. So you and me will both be having some fun at the end of this month. What to clean out a colon? Eat 20 White Castle burgers and a sack of onion rings. Wait 3 hours and let her rip. Wow. No, the stuff they give you is more potent than even that. I will tell you from personal experience. Andrew, you guys are behind the times. When I had mine, they just put me to sleep, woke up with the roto-rootering was done. Well, it depends. I've had, like I said, I've had 3. At 2 of them, they actually knocked me out. At 1, they just gave me a drug that kind of made me feel loopy. And it's like, what they said is, yeah, it's not going to knock you out, but you're not going to care. And they were right. Sure, but that's exactly what's done in America, minus regulatory practice protecting employees. That's true. What's the difference between Anti-Checker's health issues and Star Trek Discovery? Anti-Checker could potentially improve. I will take that as a compliment, I guess. The last time I had to have a colonoscopy, the day before, I pretty much lost everything below the nipples, left me feeling pretty hollow. Yes. And after the colonoscopy, yes, you will eat something. Yeah. And let's see, the day before the colonoscopy will be Kerplop live stream. Every time I hear someone say Karoga, I think Karogan. Yeah, I understand it's an easy thing to confuse, but Karoga is, in fact, pure evil. Be careful. Checker, companies can handle taxes. The issue is that they then get to confront the globalized economy and can't compete with low prices. Yeah, and here's what I think, Luke. Honestly, that I don't think there should be a corporate income tax. I don't mind some regulations to protect the employees, but that should be in lieu of them paying income taxes. And Continuum says, Antchecker sounds hilarious. I'll check out his gameplay in 10 minutes. All right. Companies handle taxes by raising prices. That is true. And that's why I say don't charge them, because you're just going to end up paying for it anyway. Luke says, I don't know. How about a steel baguette? There's no such thing. You can't have a steel loaf of bread. A baguette is bread. Antchecker's doctors are about to go where no man has gone before. Well, except for 3 times. Coming to CBS All Access, Star Trek colonoscopy. That could be a show. In fact, maybe in that trailer for the Picard series, when Picard's like, he's in the process of getting a colonoscopy. If you wake up with Vaseline on your bum, you may have gone to the wrong place. No, they use Vaseline, actually. Well, no, actually, I think they use KY. I would rather hear about Antchecker's colonoscopy than watching Spider-Man Far From Great. Uncle Remus, you are being really unfair to that movie without seeing it. And so you don't, if you don't see the movie, don't tell me how much it sucks, because you didn't see the movie. And so they hit Antchecker with mood slime from Ghostbusters 2. That's kind of what it felt like. A sterile field is not the same as a force field in Star Trek. No, it is not. The sterile field is a field where basically it sounds like germs and stuff cannot exist. And so you can go in and perform surgery without gloves and without a mask and stuff, and it protects the patient. You should just continue with the fast after your procedure. Do a total 7-day fast and see how you feel. Darren, I know you love fasting. I hate it. I've done it. I hate it. What's worse, a colonoscopy or watching Star Trek Discovery? Depends on the episode of Discovery. I got to say, there are a couple of episodes of Discovery. For example, I can't remember the name of it, but the one with the Telosians, that would be more enjoyable than the colonoscopy. However, there are other episodes of Discovery, like the last episode of season 2, or or almost any episode from season 1, that are worse than having a colonoscopy. To boldly go where 4 other doctors have gone, yes, and the colonoscopy jokes flow like, yeah, you know. Oh, jeez. Blade concealed in a baguette. Easy. I remember the Resistance hiding weaponry in loaves of bread. Except that you just said a baguette versus an umbrella, and in that contest, umbrella wins. Did you ever see the Family Guy episode where Peter got a colonoscopy? He sued the doctor claiming it was rape. Well, it's only rape if it's an involuntary colonoscopy. That should be the new name for prison rape is now involuntary colonoscopy. That's the new politically correct way of saying it. Colonoscopy on CBS. At least there will be less crap than Discovery. Ooh. Going to the tutor, making my daily baguette. All right, got to go tutor. All right, Dr. Alex, thank you so much for hanging out. You take care of yourself, my friend. Orville Nation throws $10 into the chat. Thank you so much. Says, hey, Anti-Tricker, take care of yourself. Lots of love from Captain Mercer and the entire crew. PJ. Well, thank you so much, my friend. I truly do appreciate that. And Orville Nation, you can pick a Mega Chat reward if you want to. So you can throw a number at me, 1 through 5, and I will play it here for you. And so... but thank you, my friend. I truly do appreciate it. In the Star Trek universe, do colonoscopies exist? Yes. Have you not seen Star Trek Discovery? I mean, seriously? Have you not seen Star Trek Discovery? Let's see. I got lost here, so there goes the medication. Make me get... I have to have 6 small meals through the day. Dale Gribble. We have tech like that now. Special machines that use light to sterilize entire hospital rooms. Well, there you go. Easy. Spinning Spock is better. Michael Burnham worse than colonoscopy. Well, that's true, yes. Watch out for colonoscopists with a sense of humor. If you hear them say, darn the torpedoes, full speed ahead, run. Yeah, I would definitely run. Captain Cat says, I haven't watched Spider-Man, but I was telling Uncle Remus that I wasn't interested in the MCU anymore. I would watch them when they come out on streaming services. Well, I'll tell you, Captain Cat, I know that some people have expressed a little frustration with the MCU. I'm still enjoying it. I understand the concerns over them going woke with Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel was, I'm going to be doing a review of it soon, but Captain Marvel was not a great film, especially by MCU standards. That being said, Spider-Man Far From Home is nothing like Captain Marvel. Because CBS loves the CSI and NCIS series and their spin-offs, CBS is going to give you Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Los Angeles and Star Trek Miami. I would not be surprised. I think in Trek they can just scan you. Yeah, as far as a colonoscopy, you're probably right. They just whip out the tricorder and Dr. McCoy could tell you instantaneously anything that a colonoscopy could tell you. As Scientific Lens says, Gary from Nerdotic said you loved Captain Marvel movie on his stream yesterday. Say it ain't so, Joe. No, I did not love Captain Marvel. I said it was not as bad as people made it out to be. Captain Marvel is not a train wreck of a film. However, love is not a word that I would use along with that movie, especially after watching it a second time, getting ready for doing the review on it. It definitely is worse the second time around. And so, like, I will tell you, when I get to my full review of it, you will hear that red turd every time Captain Marvel does anything that involves... so, just so you know. Orville Nation throws number 2 out there. Well, and so let's find out what is behind door number 2.
The board vessel's moving into range.
On screen.
Let's get lost in that magic place all alone now. fill from my fountain of love, wet your lips. I'm a man, I'm a teaser, I'm a man, well I'm a virgin, I'm a man, I'm a one-night stand, a man, I'm a man, I'm a man, I'm a dream, I'm a dream divine, make love together.
He's dead.
And yes, the ultimate suffering, having to listen to Laura Reloaded sing. John Ford says CBS equals colonoscopy broadcasting system. You are probably accurate. At least talking about anti-trickers, colonoscopy is far more entertaining than anything CBS does. Core, can't argue with that. Dan says toilets on Discovery. No, because Discovery is a toilet. Well, since Star Trek Discovery is 99% female, I understand wondering if they still have colonoscopies on Star Trek Discovery. Well, but the thing is that, yeah, realistically, there's, with the way that the medical technology is portrayed, even in the original series, a colonoscopy would be completely redundant. And let's see, someone needs to send him something else. Not sure what you mean. I've heard this is what happens after a colonoscopy. Is this true? And sends a YouTube video that I'm afraid to even look at. Well, that's a colostomy bag. I don't even want to know what's going on there, but I will check it out. Congo, I don't know. Lee, Brie alone, she's hot. Oh, okay, that was my joke of the day. All right, DJ. It's worse than that. It's okay. I'm hoping for a hypo spray in today's medicine. Needles suck. Actually, Darth Maul, hypo sprays already exist. I've gotten inoculations when with using hypo sprays in the military in 1986. Captain Marvel's an average movie. Peter, I agree. If I was just giving a gut level reaction number rating for Captain Marvel, it would probably be a 5 out of 10. At first, I gave it like a 7, but after watching it twice, 5. Mystique is basically I think that's an angry face at DJ. What is Dr. McCoy needs a closer look at your colon, or maybe Mr. Sulu? Would a colonoscopy be used at that point? I hope not. A film that puts people to sleep is not a train wreck. No, a train wreck is something tentacle akin to The Last Jedi is a train wreck kind of film, where Last Jedi is downright offensive in almost every scene of the film. You have films like the 2016 Ghostbusters fiasco. Those are train wrecks, right? Now, other movies can be woke, but not a train wreck. For example, Mad Max Fury Road. I didn't hate Mad Max Fury Road, but I think it's way overrated, and they only think it's so awesome because Charlize Theron hijacks the movie away from that title frickin' character. But, yeah. Anti-Tracker's behind, says Uncle Remus, which could be a colonoscopy joke. Captain Marvel just slightly worse than Endgame for me, but then again, I didn't like Endgame. Well, I liked Endgame. There were a couple of scenes in Endgame that I didn't like, which, interestingly enough, partially involve Captain Marvel. Tiki of Doom says, making fun of Vocal Fry is sexist. No, it's not, because is not gender specific. I'm finished with the MCU. Endgame was my endgame as far as anything Disney does. Well, Core, I will have to agree to disagree with you there. When it comes out on streaming, I understand if you don't want to go see it in the theater to support it, but when it comes out on streaming, check out Spider-Man Far From Home and tell me it's a horrible movie. Because I don't think it is on any level. You can't say it's a bad movie. True, LOL, I heard there's going to be a Demolition Man 2 really seems a little late for that, but why not? But I did think the 3 seashells thing was funny. Janeway looked like she's enjoying it. Not sure what you mean there. Fry in Futurama had worms. That's true. Fry did have worms, and they gave him great abilities. CBS equals colonoscopy BS service. Planning anything special for tomorrow? Yes, me and Mrs. Anti-Trekker and Joshua are going to basically have some, maybe some chili dogs, and just kind of, we're probably going to watch a movie or something. We've been talking about watching Terminator 2 because Joshua hasn't seen it yet. In fact, he only saw Terminator for the first time a couple of weeks ago. So that's kind of what we're looking at. I will probably do a stream tomorrow, but it will probably be earlier than normal because we're going to be having our chili cheese dogs and watching Terminator 2. And then keeping the dogs inside because, unfortunately, little Auntie here, when people occasionally set up fireworks right now, it really freaks her out. So we're going to have to basically keep a close eye on her. And, so, yeah. And Darren says, considering your avatar, this stream is probably the most anti-trekkerish stream you've probably ever done. Thanks, Darren. Thanks for caring. When is the retaliation coming to Kuroga after the anti-base attack, and where is the anti-dog today? Anti-dog is right there. She's snoozing right next to me right now. I know my screen is so cluttered with stuff. I need to, which is unfortunate, but I don't want to have... where is Anti-Dog? Is that the one? No, that's the Razor. We bring this up. There's Anti-Dog. Right there. Snoozing away. So, put her right there. So there's Anti. Let's see. But as far as retaliate, well, we did get some revenge on them. Their base is still OP, so we're going to keep working on taking out that base until it's gone. What's worse, tornado or hurricane? In my opinion, tornado. Hurricanes you can evacuate from or brace yourself for. Tornadoes hit like that and can completely destroy a house in seconds. I'm liking the MCU again. I think it's as good as it has been in recent years. Avengers 2 and the formula of the Marvel films hadn't been shaken up in a while. Infinity War was great. I agree with you, Kongu. I actually really like what they've done lately, except for Captain Marvel. And Peter Quinn sends a link that has something to do with Demolition Man 2 from ultimateactionmovies.com. That's just scary. My grandfather had a colonoscopy done, and they ferreted his colon and had to wear a colostomy bag for 6 months. Ow. Don't tell me stuff like that, Uncle Ramus. Also, I thought colostomy was samely as colonoscopy bags. Similar name. Yeah, colonoscopy is a procedure in which they ram a camera up your butt to examine the interior of your colon. A colostomy is a bag device that you have to wear all the time because your colon is not functioning or has been removed, and that's where your waste material goes instead of out your behind. What do you think about CBS and Viacom merger? Well, that wasn't... Are you talking about something current? Because CBS and Viacom were one company. Robin Snowden says, like Twister. Well, Twister was crap as far as realism, but it was a fun movie. And Thomas throws $1.99, says there's a ship quiz. Oh, I do not know that one. I could tell what show it's... Well, I'm not even 100% sure what show it's from. At first, I was going to say it's obviously from Discovery, but then looking at the warp... Well, I'll let you guys see it. So here is the ship. The first person to identify this ship gets to pick the super chat. Here it is. I have no idea what it is. Thomas Potts will announce the winner when somebody posts in the comments what ship that is. 2.5 Men did a colonoscopy episode. Of course they did. Antry, he hasn't seen Terminator 2. He has yet to live. Yes. Roots is a woke series, and it's fantastic. You are 100% correct. That is a great... Thank you, Peter. That is a great example of a good... in fact, an excellent use of what we now call woke wokeness, right? Wokeness didn't exist as a term back when Roots was produced, but it was incredibly good. And that is a great example. Thank you. And Tiki says Fury Road is favorite woke movie. Well, there you go. Ozzy says he hasn't seen Terminator 2. He's yet to live. Well, hopefully he will tomorrow. Come on, people. Far From Home can't be that bad. It's supposed to be shot in Europe, so that's a plus for American movie. It is shot in Europe for the most part, Luke, and you will recognize a few places. Although it's kind of funny because they want to go to Paris, and, well, I won't give any spoilers, but unfortunately Peter's plan of telling MJ about how he feels about her on top of the Eiffel Tower doesn't happen. Josh has not seen Terminator 2. My dad let me watch it when I was 10. It's a classic. It is, but Joshua was never into action-type movies until fairly recently, and so I'm looking forward to watching it with him to see what his opinion of it is. That may be the calmest dog on earth. You are not kidding. Auntie does, you know what? Auntie does two things. Walks with me and sleeps. That's it. Do you think during your colonoscopy they will find a spot that they will find the spot that STD makes sense? What? Shomer? I'm not sure that came across quite the way you intended. That screen in the background, man, hyperspace is so freaky. Let's see. I've heard that there has been a remote mini cameras for that sort of exam for decades. Well, I don't know, but yeah, it looks like a huge pill. Well, I can't speak about that camera. I've had the procedure done several times, and yeah. BIRDOPREY says the USS Antifa. They're planning like 5 more Captain Marvel-related movies and 2 more all about her. Well, I will take anything like that with a grain of salt until I hear it come from Marvel Studios. All right, Brad? I know a lot of people have been saying stuff, but a lot of that is rumor, and those rumors almost always turn out to be false, or at best only partially true. So when Marvel announces their slate of films, then we'll see. But, you know, just because somebody says they heard from their inside source that Marvel is going to make the entire MCU all about Captain Marvel, that doesn't mean jack unless, you know, you actually hear it come from a press conference or something. My brother has a colostomy bag since he had colon cancer survivor, and they basically took his rectum. Yes, yeah, I hope I don't have to do that. It's that axe. It looks like Star Wars. Uncle Remus Discovery. Josh says Intrepid. It's the USS Lurpa. It does kind of look like a Lurpa, doesn't it? USS Ares. All right, so Josh won. It is the Intrepid. So this is the Intrepid that is the starship manned by Vulcans? Okay. Show Joshua Blazing Saddles. Yeah, he might like that, actually. I'm pretty sure they won't go to Paris. Filming there is prohibitive. Yeah, they did not make it to Paris. But they talked about Paris a lot. Can you picture being the guy who has his quarters below that warp nacelle? Yeah, you mean radioactive man? Yeah, I know. By the way, so Josh, you get to pick a Super Chat reward, so give me a number, 1 to 25, and I will play it. Let's see. It's from Star Trek Enterprise Season 2, last episode. Really? I don't remember a ship like that from Enterprise, but I will take your word for it. I thought the government was a private corporation. No, the government is a government. She has 5 more movies in her contract. Well, that doesn't mean jack. Just because she's got 5 movies in her contract, that doesn't mean that all 5 movies will be about her. For example, she was in Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame was not about Captain Marvel in any way, shape, or form. In fact, her part was fairly minimal. So that is one of those, you know, that is one movie. Now, if she is in another movie where she has a similarly insignificant appearance, well, now you're down to 4. She is a major character, so it makes sense that, like, I'm sure they're planning a couple of sequels to Captain Marvel. However, plans change, because if Captain Marvel 2 does not do well, which I suspect it will not, then Captain Marvel 3 may get canceled. Antrigger, can't you send a stool sample out for a lab for analysis? No, that is why they are doing the colonoscopy, because the stool sample came back positive, and so now they have to do the colonoscopy for further testing. Intrepid class. Well, it's not the Intrepid. No, the Intrepid class is Voyager, right? Let's see. No, it's from Enterprise. That's weird. I don't remember seeing it. I'll have to look it up. Another obscure movie you might want to show Joshua if he likes odd, quirky movies is Johnny Dangerously. I don't know if he'd like Johnny Dangerously. He might like UHF, but I don't know about Johnny Dangerously. Andrew, no, Andrew, that's the Intrepid from Enterprise. I don't remember the Intrepid from Enterprise, to be honest. Although the looking at it now, I can see that the saucer section is shaped more like Enterprise. That it is consistent with the Enterprise aesthetic. Although, quite frankly, if you just push those warp nacelles back, it would look better than Enterprise from Enterprise. All right, so let's see. And Dan actually puts a link for the image of the ship. And of course, there's a commercial playing because we always got to have commercials. Let's see. So there's Mayweather talking to people. There's something off in the distance. Reed looking as confused as Reed always does. All right, so Enterprise under attack from a Klingon bird of prey that shouldn't exist because quantum. They're still in the fight. Blah blah blah. Looks like they blow up the nacelle. They're still getting punched on. I don't see the ship. I see a bird of prey. Yeah. I do not see that ship anywhere, Dan. The ship is in the picture in this. The ship is in the picture, is in this video from Enterprise. I don't. Yeah, give me a timestamp because I didn't see it. And I can't play the whole thing because I don't want to get DMCA'd. So you got to give me a timestamp. Let's see. Sing with us, Roto-Rooter. That's the name. Jerk. Enter UHF is amazing. Yeah, UHF is a fun movie. I got to say, I enjoyed it. Ozzy said, Mrs. Antitrekker says hi to everybody. Hey, babe. Hope you're doing okay. We're going to be leaving soon to take Auntie to her class. Ozzy says a positive stool test is not the end of the world. It means that there's blood in the stool. Let's just hope you have a bad case of IBS. Yeah, that would be much better. However, the reason I'm concerned, Ozzy, is that I have a history of colon cancer. It's not that this would be something that is like brand new for me. All right, so 1 minute, 18 seconds is where we see the other ship. Okay, yeah, you just see a glance of it. A glimpse. So let me rewind it a little bit and we'll take a look. So this is the appearance of the Intrepid. And there it is. And yeah, you can see there, that's definitely it. But yeah. Let's see. Dragged my dad to see UHF in theaters when I was like 12. He still hasn't forgiven me. UHF is a fun movie, but yeah, it was a disaster at the box office. Birds of Prey on Enterprise are fine. It didn't break canon. Darren? Yes, it did. However, I understand you are an Enterprise apologist, and that's fine. You love that show more than anybody else on the planet, I believe. However, yes, the Birds of Prey on Enterprise did break canon. Because at best, I mean, first of all, we already know the behind-the-scenes part is that the Bird of Prey from Star Trek 3 was supposed to be a Romulan ship. However, the sole purpose of the Bird of Prey is to be a small strike craft that uses a cloaking device, and they were not employed until after the Klingons got cloaking devices from the Romulans. And so there were no Birds of Prey in the original series except for from Romulans. Considering where the writing of Star Trek Discovery comes from, I was wondering if there's a place in the colon that Star Trek Discovery got its inspiration. Ah, good question. I don't know. Josh saying hi to Mrs. Antitracker. Zabe says, I saw Weird Al in concert, Strings Attached, and just a few days ago. Very cool. I've not, I've heard about the Strings Attached concert, but I've seen him twice in concert, and he's incredible. Most recently, I saw his Mandatory Fun concert, which was a lot of fun, which was mandatory. Ozzy says, I remember that ship. It was one of Earth's defense ships. It goes like Warp 1. The Intrepid was featured more prominently in the third season during a story that takes place in an alternate future. Okay. A glance of a glimpse. Yes, sorry about that. Mrs. Antitracker saying hi to Thomas. Continuum is subbing to Mrs. Antitracker, which, by the way, I do recommend. If you like my channel, definitely subscribe to Mrs. Antitracker, because if something happens to my channel, then my videos will be up there. How long will the colonoscopy take? It's been a long time getting from there to here. The timeline was reset in First Contact. Well, that's an interesting supposition there, Peter. However, the problem is that they've made no canonical references to that. I have said that I think that the First Contact events created an alternate timeline in which we get Enterprise and Star Trek Discovery, and basically no other Star Trek series took place in that timeline. However, I know some people hate that I say that. Thomas says, sends me another YouTube video and says, go to 1 minute 35. Because you guys just love making me suffer through all this. Let's see. 1 minute 35, huh? Ooh. Well, this is at 1 minute 33, and we get to see an Intrepid ship literally being blown apart. So that was a good view of it, but yeah, you can definitely see that's the ship. Let's see what they're saying. Well, that's loud. Sorry about that. Turn it down a bit.
Intrepid's taken a direct hit. They've lost their port nacelle.
There we go. The Intrepid has taken a direct hit. They lost their port nacelle. So there you go. Wow, I do not even remember that. It's been a long time since I've watched Enterprise. I need to watch it again sometime soon. Let's see. The Soviet Union took 99.9% of Europe, but Swiss cheese took over 100% of the Soviet Union. Interesting. Weird, but interesting. All right. The Intrepid took a season 3. It was in a season 3 episode of Enterprise. That's what we just saw, where it loses a warp nacelle. The Enterprise explodes and time reverts to normal, so it didn't actually happen. Of course. The Enterprise Bird of Prey did not all incastrate canon. My fandom of the show has nothing to do with it. Behind the scenes are also irrelevant. Well, Darren, considering that the first Bird of Prey ever seen was Star Trek 3. We've had multiple encounters with the Klingons in the original series. No reference to a bird of prey whatsoever. Every Klingon ship was a D7. But, you know, whatever. There were no Romulan birds of prey in TOS. Darren, I know. It's just a complete coincidence that they refer to the fact that the Romulan ships are painted as a giant bird of prey. I know that's a complete coincidence to you. However, if you want to argue that that's not a Romulan bird of prey, then fine, whatever. I don't know why you insist on that, Darren. You know I love you, man, but yeah. Star Trek Enterprise Season 3, Intrepid 1.29 alternate. Well, yeah, so we've got two clips, two of the same clip there. Mrs. Antitracker is greater than Antitracker. Can't argue with that. Wow, Mrs. Antitracker is stealing all your videos. Yes, but she has my permission. Birds of prey are suspect ships like suspect dictators similarly named. Yes, I agree with you. Zabe says, it's been a long road, but my time is finally here. Robin Snowden says, so cool. The only problem with your theory is 7 of 9 acknowledges the Borg's presence in First Contact, although that was a time travel episode. Right. And Uncle Remus, got to run a trick, take care. Hope all comes out well. Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate that. Yeah, the end of Enterprise has Commander Riker and Deanna Troi. Well, that's true, but if it's an alternate timeline, it could have been an alternate version of Riker and Troy. Because let's be real, we never saw, because Riker and Troy looked remarkably older than they did at the time that they were supposedly interacting, because that was taking place during the episode with the Pegasus. And so if they're older, that could be because they're in an alternate timeline. See? Ozzy says, have you ever watched Man in the High Castle on Amazon? It's an alternate timeline where the Germans win World War II. I've heard of it, but I have not seen it. The Intrepid getting torn is the word you're looking for, Luke. The Intrepid getting torn apart is a pretty good example to, showing how Starfleet ships are completely reliant on their shields. Before shields, they were glass cannons. I do think that that they do rely on their shields quite a bit, but so does basically everybody in the Star Trek universe. Is that we've seen multiple examples that an unshielded ship taking a couple of photon torpedoes is gone. Is Bird of Prey 5 canon? No. Lore had the voice of an angel. Continuum, whatever you're smoking, I want a prescription for it. Thomas says, there was a Romulan Bird of Prey in Enterprise. Yes, I know, and that did break canon. I don't care what Darren says. Bird of Prey didn't break canon. Those who cannot deal with it are too infatuated with their own head canon. Darren, you know, I know that you don't care what all the official production stuff says, but the ship from the original series that the Romulans had before they got the Klingon D7 design is universally referred to as the Romulan Bird of Prey. I understand you don't like that, and they don't say it in the actual episode. They only say that it is painted as a bird of prey. However, that is the title of that ship. You know what they also don't say in the original series? A Klingon D7. They don't actually call it a D7. However, we all know it is a D7, and nobody is trying to argue that it is not a D7. The only reason that you want to argue that that's not a bird of prey is so that it fits your headcanon that it's not a canon violation for the Klingons to have a bird of prey before they should have been able to have a bird of prey. It also makes no sense that the Klingons would suddenly adopt a Romulan-inspired design, especially 100 years before their supposed treaty, where they were able to get cloaking devices and stuff. But, you know, prequel series always have these types of problems. That's why I kind of oppose the whole concept of a prequel. Birds of Prey don't break... I already read that. Let's see. Peter says, another YouTube video... okay, that's the same ship, the Intrepid class, it looks like from Star Trek Online. Man in the High Castle is good. Cool. I don't have time to watch another show, but cool. End of Enterprise shows TOS episode. End of Enterprise shows TOS Enterprise. That's true in that final collage shot of all the ships named Enterprise. However, that is not a moment that actually happens in the show. That is just a presentation so that, because obviously there was never a time where Archer says space the final frontier, and then all of a sudden Kirk says these are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise, and then Cisco said, you know, that didn't happen, right? That's presented as just a little farewell moment for everybody. So that is not a canonical moment. Alternate timeline has a fudge factor. How do you get now to get around canon violations? Well, and that's the point, Core. It's like the only way to have canon really line up is to have Enterprise take place in an alternate timeline. There's also the problem, and of course, that Darren may or may not want to address when he tries to argue about how Enterprise fits in the timeline. And even if you want to say what's on, and Darren is saying, well, what's on screen is canon. Okay, then explain to me, why is it that they have visual communications? Why is it that they have advanced weapons before the Romulan War, at which point there was no visual communications or advanced weapons? And don't try to tell me that he only meant visual communications between us and the Romulans, because that is not what Spock said. We played the line on my live stream when you were arguing that before. And Spock clearly says there was no ship-to-ship visual communication, so no human, Romulan, or ally had ever seen the other. So there was no such thing as ship-to-ship visual communications during the war. They had to fight the war using atomic weapons because phasers and photonic weapons had not yet been developed. And yet, in Enterprise, we have phasers and photonic weapons. So Enterprise is a complete violation of canon. They should have said it about 50 years later than they did to make it work. However, that's all water under the bridge. Sure, but they weren't even talking about photons here. Their Intrepid gets torn apart by particle weapons. Those struts supporting the nacelles are such tempting targets. Well, yeah, I agree, Luke. That was, the advent of deflector shields changed the game in the Alpha Quadrant. What is on screen is canon, not what it says on model kit boxes. Yes, but you know what, Darren? If every production note, every production video, everything involved in the production, and by the way, the official novelization of the episode, everything all refers to that ship as the Bird of Prey. All right? But it's just not said on screen. Just like we all know about the D7. Explain to me why you have no problem with calling a Klingon ship a D7 then. The first time that ship was called a D7 was freaking Discovery. If only the poor Intrepid had armor made of Discovery doors. That's true. Then it would have been invincible. I have to agree, behind-the-scenes stuff are not canon. The D7 is also considered to be a bird of prey. If a D7 is also a bird of prey, whatever. It doesn't make any sense. The Intrepid had hull plating. Yeah, I assume similar to what the Enterprise had. I remember the interviews with Frakes and Sirtis did for Enterprise, how much their bodies changed since the TNG episode. Frakes fit his uniform snugly, apparently. Sirtis' boobs got bigger and needed help. I don't remember that interview, but I don't doubt it. It's Star Trek Legacy. Okay. Can you play the Soviet national anthem? Can I? Possibly. I would probably get DMCA'd for it, though. To be fair, Enterprise did end before it had a chance to shine. I agree. Don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on Enterprise. I'm actually, and Darren knows this, I'm actually an Enterprise defender. I think Enterprise got cut short before its prime. And I do think that if you look at the progression of season 1, 2, 3, 4 of Enterprise, it was getting better. But, unfortunately, it didn't have a chance to really get to its potential. Luke says, the Romulan Bird of Prey didn't have such structural weakness. The D7 is arguable with its neck, but the thin part is right behind the head, so harder to hit. Right. The Romulan Bird of Prey did not have a structural weakness like the Klingons did, yes. But not sure what the point of that is. Enter, yeah, they were both noticeably older, and the Enterprise D sets were painted differently. Well, there you go. See? Enterprise did split off thanks to First Contact. That's what I believe, Peter. I truly do. I think that the First Contact timeline is the timeline in which Enterprise exists, because that's the only explanation for the incredibly advanced technology we see in Enterprise compared to what it should. I'm struggling to remember, but I kind of think the Orion ships were pretty solid too regarding structural weaknesses. I don't know. Darren says, I talked about all of this in a post on your website months ago. This is settled and you lost. Well, no, that's just you saying it's settled and you lost. Just because you say I lost doesn't mean I lost. It just means that you are absolutely convinced. And I understand that. That's fine. You can be absolutely convinced of that. However, the simple fact is that, and especially going on your standard, that if it's only on screen, that's the only thing that counts as canon, then everything you see in Star Trek Enterprise is a violation of canon because of balance of terror. There is no getting around that. The technology on Enterprise is light years beyond what it should have been in everything except propulsion. So, and that's that. I actually saw Star Trek 3 before the whole of TOS and was very confused as to why the Klingons weren't flying my favorite bird of prey. Well, because, they changed. The Star Trek 3, unfortunately, what happened with Star Trek 3, Congo, you may not know this, but this is the behind-the-scenes stuff. And I understand behind-the-scenes is not canon, all right? But what happened was the screenplay was written with a baddie of a Romulan commander who was a rogue agent trying to get the Genesis information. And so they designed a new Bird of Prey design. They wrote the screenplay. They were getting everything ready. They involved cloaking devices and stuff because they're Romulans, and everything was fine and dandy. Then Leonard Nimoy wanted to change it to Klingons. So they changed it to Klingons, but they didn't change some of the dialogue. And so that means that Sulu refers to the ship as a Klingon bird of prey, which is where, and believe me, when I was a kid and I saw Star Trek 3 for the first time in theaters, that line from Sulu pissed me off. If I were doing a review of Star Trek 3, that line from Sulu would definitely be a 3 red turd moment, because that was a huge error on the part of the writers of that film. Because there was no such thing as a Klingon bird of prey. There was a Romulan bird of prey. However, that's where a lot of this started. It was an error on the part of the writers who were trying to convert a Romulan story to a Klingon story and didn't change everything. Klingon birds of prey on Enterprise don't break canon. That's all I'm trying to discuss here. Well, but Darren, everything on Enterprise breaks canon. There's not a single episode of Enterprise that does not break canon. Not one. Unless you can point to an episode where they didn't have phasers or visual communication, or nukes on the ships. Where are the nukes? One question is nagging me every time I'm rewatching your streams. Why do you hate Beyond? When was it praised? When it was praised way more than Into Darkness? Did you do a video about it? I have not done a full video on Beyond. I may actually do a full review of Beyond, Joseph, to kind of express my hatred for Beyond. The main reason is that Star Trek Beyond felt like a hack episode of Star Trek The Next Generation with the characters from Star Trek The Original Series superimposed on top of it. I think that the villain motivation was laughably stupid and politically motivated, which I think that the Sulu gay woke moment was completely gratuitous, unnecessary, and in fact insulting to George fricking Takei. Right? There was so much wrong with that movie. I found it offensive to the franchise of Trek. And they, of course, doubled down on the Starfleet. Starfleet not being the military is the center of the plot. So Starfleet is not the military in the JJ verse, and they do it twice. They do it in Star Trek. Actually, they do it in all 3 of the J.J. Abrams Star Trek films, but it's the most egregious in Star Trek Beyond, where they keep talking about Starfleet is not the military. I'm so sick and tired of the Starfleet is not the military crap, because nobody is ever going to be able to convince me that Starfleet, the only armed service of the Federation, is not the fricking military. And people say, but they explore and they do science. Yes, they do. But that doesn't change the fact that they're the military. Guess what, people? The United States military employs scientists. If there were parts of the world that were unexplored, the United States military would probably go there. Anyway, but that's the short version, Joseph. I will probably do a review of it eventually. Darren says, I've never personally called those Klingon ships a D7. Fair, but you also don't argue against it like it's some big deal. Future's End 2-parter changed the timeline, thus visual comms on Star Trek Enterprise. I don't remember Future's End from what I can off the top of my head. Sorry. Why didn't they set Enterprise 50 years later? That's kind of a rhetorical question, but there really wasn't any crucial reason to set it as the first NX Enterprise. I don't know, 'cause they really should have. If it was set 50 years later, the technology would not have been an issue. Hey man, wow, love the background Doctor Who style time tunnel. Glad you like it. I pulled it off of YouTube actually. All right, so let me see if I can get caught up, and then I got to wrap things up because we're going to take the lazy dog there to her first class. Let's see. In a Voyager episode, they called it a D7. Thank you, Tom. I missed that, but yeah, I remember that one Klingon ship they ran into. I couldn't remember that they called it a D7, and they called it a D7 and DS9. Okay, thank you. You say you lost because you conceded my. I say you lost because you conceded my points on one of your live streams. You read the thing and agreed with my points. I'd have to go back and look at it, Darren. But you know what? I'm saying is it really worth fighting this fervently over? I don't. To you, obviously, it is. But that is a Romulan bird of prey. But the problem is that if you want me to concede that since they never said bird of prey, it's not officially a bird of prey, fine. Then you need to concede that every single episode of Enterprise is a violation of canon just based on the technology involved. So does your theory give credit to the opening scene of Star Trek 2009 and the Kelvin timeline technology being more advanced? Yes. So in my theory, and I did do a video on this, Darth Maul, but in my theory is basically that the events of First Contact, they went, the Enterprise D or the Enterprise E went back in time to First Contact, which takes place, of course, long before the events of Star Trek Enterprise. Because of that event, because of the Borg attack in that, then it's not like it was a big secret, because in Enterprise, Archer actually looks up archives of Cochrane giving speeches about the Borg, right? So it's not like it was something that was completely unknown. However, due to that, they actually, Starfleet ramped up their military abilities and stuff as they were developing, because they were worried that these cyborgs from the future might come back. Well, this gave rise to the Enterprise timeline, which is why the technology in Enterprise is so much more advanced than it was in the original timeline, which then spawned the Discovery timeline, and the Kelvin timeline was an offshoot of that alternate timeline. And which is why we see on Discovery and Kelvin timeline, they use windows instead of view screens. And that also would explain, you see, why the view screens were as advanced in Enterprise as they were in the original series. And they went beyond that to these fancy view windows, because visual technology had advanced more quickly in this alternate timeline. Whew. Let's see. Maybe they classified everything on Enterprise like they did on Discovery. Personally, I think Star Trek 3 Bird of Prey looks more like a Klingon ship than a Romulan ship anyway. I think that the bridge area does, but the rest of the original idea was that if you take it and you got rid of the neck and you just put a small mini saucer on the front, that's, I think, what the original design was going for, but they didn't do it, obviously. Which is, let's see. Which is kind of annoying, because they could have kept most of their visual intent. They just had to switch to lasers, plus the torpedo launchers being used as drone or nuke launchers. Yeah, it wouldn't have been that hard to do. You drop visual communications, you use lasers instead of phase cannons and then phasers, and you have the torpedoes be nukes, and you would fix it. Sulu's line of Star Trek 3 wasn't an error. It firmly established that the Klingons were the ones that had the ship called a bird of prey. Darren, that you are just flat out wrong. It was a writing error. The line was originally, it's a Romulan bird of prey arming torpedoes. When they converted the villain to Klingon, they left that line the same, except changed Romulan to Klingon. That is an error. You can say it's not an error all you want, but all the evidence is that it was an error on the part of the writers. Ozzy says, not phasers, phase cannons. I said phase cannons just a moment ago. Beyond is a better film than Into Darkness in 2009. Disagree, but you're free to like it. I wonder how many Trek episodes the ship doesn't go to red alert. Good question. Don't know. Captain Spire throws another $5 in. Thank you. Says, I have a script where the Klingon captain stole a Romulan bird of prey to use his plan to steal the Genesis device. Originally, Romulans were the bad guys. Yes, that is 100% true, Captain. And unfortunately, people can't accept that. And they say, well, that's not official canon. And that's true. But it does, unfortunately, break some of the timeline. And that is a continuity issue in Trek. Yeah, when George K. blasted the choice of making J.J. Sulu gay, it was all over for them. Yeah, and I'm glad George did that. I have a lot of I have a lot of respect for George Takei for being willing to say that. Visual communication was a problem, though. Main screen wasn't necessary. They missed the opportunity to go further into the submarine vibe. Exactly. I think it would have been cool if they didn't even have a view screen on that Enterprise, and it felt like you were in a submarine. And like the only person that knew what was going on around the ship was someone manning the science console. And let's see. If Starfleet ships didn't have weapons, maybe you could say it's not the military. Agreed. At least we agree on that, Darren. Where Voyager went back in the 1990s Enterprise, where Voyager went back to the 1990s Trigger and Future's End. Okay, I'd have to look at it to see what changes to the timeline that might have caused. But yeah. As much as I've been thinking about doing a time travel series after I get recovered from things and I can focus for more than 2 minutes. As much as I do like Enterprise, if it were up to me, I would have told Paramount not to do a prequel, or if they have to do a prequel, have it set after the movie era before TNG. I agree with you there as well, Darren. I think that is a area ripe for putting a series in, and the ship aesthetic of the movie era is so beautiful. But yeah. Nightbreeze says hi, just as I'm trying to wrap up. Well, good to see you. Darren says, the Mirror NX class is still far inferior to the Canon Constitution class, and the Mirror NX is more advanced than the regular NX. Well, first of all, as far as the Canon Constitution class, well, yeah, it's a ship from 100 years later, right? So even it's just not that much more advanced. As much as it should have been. A Constitution class versus an NX class should be like a modern destroyer versus a schooner from the 1800s, right? That's where, like, seriously, they should be, cannonballs bouncing off the side of armor plating. It should have been a joke. However, even though the Constitution class handily outgunned everybody it faced, they could have, in time, probably worn down its defenses if they had enough ships. Thomas says, since you answered yesterday before I asked, support a stream today. I'm not sure, Thomas. We got to take the dog to her class, and then I got to get on the phone with the insurance company, so it's going to depend on how much time that takes. If I can, I will. If I can't, I won't. So that's all I can really say at this point. Captain MKG says, good day. How you doing, Captain? Your battle station is looking great, Anti-Checker. Well, thank you. I have a battle station? I didn't know that. In TOS, when the Enterprise was attacked Season 2, the Deadly Years, they just referred to them as Romulans. That's true. They just say Romulan ships, basically. They don't actually call them Bird of Prey on screen. That I would concede to Darren. But if you want to simply go with whatever's on screen as canon, then everything that happens in Enterprise is out of sync with everything that happens in the original series. And there's no getting around that. And, by the way, also violates things from TNG, such as Picard's description of First Contact in the episode First Contact. I wish someone would break our timeline to the point where disco wouldn't exist. Yeah, that would be nice. And Anton Yeltsin's death, that was sad. So do you want NX1 to have a window? No, I would say the NX01, no view screen whatsoever. Like, the bridge looks like the bridge of a submarine. If you've never seen the actual bridge of a submarine, there's no big view screen on the front. And so the only people that, so the only way to see out of the ship is through the periscope. Romulans in other shows have a tendency to prevent visual communications through jamming. View screens on Enterprise are not canon. Yes, they are, Darren. That you can't get around. You cannot get around the fact that Spock says there was no ship-to-ship visual communications. It did not exist. And no, there is nothing about the Romulans jamming them. This is Star Trek fandom pure debate. This is what CBS ruined by their actions. You are right, Core. This kind of stuff is fun. I love Darren, and Darren knows it. I'm not mad at Darren because he's wrong. But then you have Discovery, which just ugh. My bottom line for this stream is this: I'd really like to have my old Star Trek back. Well, I'm with you there, Darren. You and I agree on the important stuff. The transport tech being there was also incredibly annoying. It's like having a helicopter on a 19th century vessel. You're right. The transporter tech should not have existed at all. And the funny thing is it worked faster than the transporter from the original series. Remember when Picard confirmed that the Klingons had become part of the Federation in Season 2? Oh, remember when Picard said that the Klingons, the first contact with Klingons led to decades of war? That didn't happen. All right, so I do need to wrap it up there. Sir, it's the radar. It appears to be jammed. Yes, good. We'll finish it off with a Spaceballs reference. Why not? I hug Anti-Trigger figuratively over the internet all the time. I know, Darren, you're a good guy and you're a good friend. So we can fight and it's fun. But when we fight, we know we're fighting in a spirit of fun. And that is important. BIRDOPREY says, sorry I was away from the computer, just listening, didn't read the chat. That's all right, Bird. We don't like you, so it's okay. All right, so I got to run. Auntie's going to get her first fun-filled session of training today. I can't wait to see how she responds. It'll be a little bit of a challenge since she's 7 years old, and 7-year-olds don't tend to be as easy to train as puppies, but Auntie is such a sweet dog that I don't care. Anyway, guys, have a great one. If I can, I'll do a subscriber stream later today. If I can't, then please forgive me. And by the way, if you want to support the channel, you can go to antitrekker.com and, of course, support the channel there. And if you do, then you'll be supporting both me and BIRDOPREY. So, and, of course, Mrs. Anti-Trekker, who I know you guys think is the best of the best. And Luke, I'll finish off with Luke's comment here. I could have seen a couple of transporter episodes during an experiment on a space station, not remote transport, only from pad to pad. I could have seen something like that too. Like it was something being developed. And in fact, that could have been an interesting arc about the invention of the transporter. Like what if Trip or someone came up with the idea? That could have been actually something interesting. But anyway, yeah, she is. Yeah, she's very. Yeah, she basically. Yeah, she just loves snoozing. That's her favorite thing to do. All right, guys, take care. Have a good one. Blah blah blah. You know, wipe yourself or whatever.